Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning, and this is my son Ben, and today we have a look at the Cragganmore Distillers Edition. This is the high-end Cragganmore compared to the 12 years old, which is quite popular on the shelves. It's a Speyside whiskey, and this one was distilled in 2005 and bottled in 2017. And every year a new vintage of the Distillers Edition is on the market. And I had that whiskey 7 years ago, so it's quite a time. Wrong way around. So he's on the controls. And the Cragganmore is a ex-bourbon cask whiskey. And the finishing for this whiskey, as all Distillers Edition are finished by special casks, this one is finished in port wine casks. And in former times, there was written on the label that it is ruby port wine.
Yeah, but I can't find it on the back anymore. I've had a read through it, but I really can't find it anymore. Yeah. And what's a common theme in the Distillers Edition is these 4 seals. You have 4 symbols here on the side, here on the back. They explained it at the back. It's the distillery symbol here at the top with the pot still and the little wheel or gate.
I think there's a cast iron gate, which shows the same but the other way around. So, probably.
Yeah. And N for established 1869.
It's a new one.
N for new one. Port wine casks, they have PV. I don't know why V.
Port wine.
V,
not W.
Not W, V. And the master distiller KI. I had a look on the internet. Couldn't find the current master distiller with the KI.
So I'm still missing most of the Distillers Edition from Diageo. Had refurbished boxes and labels and everything, and the Cragganmore not. I wanted to taste that one again, but I said, well, next year when the packaging has changed, but it never changed, so
probably next year.
Immediately after we had this, there will be the new box out. And so they stayed to all the things on these icons, and marketing forgot that the distillery managers might change sometime.
Yeah, I would imagine they don't change the symbols with the master distillers, but they keep it from the old one that introduced that one. Probably, yes. I would say.
You're very generous.
I would say I didn't find much about the master distillers, which is quite unusual. Yeah. Found the master distiller, but there was not a big.
Cragganmore is a very small distillery, so you have to go to narrow roads until you find it, close to the water, to the River Spey. And it's a very small town called Ballindeloch. So it's a very small one, and the Cragganmore 12 years of age is one of the least selling whiskies in the Classic Malt of Scotland series of Diageo, which is the most popular series of malt whiskies from Scotland in the world. And the Distillers Edition of this whiskey is even less selling. So this is not a popular bottle. But I think the 12 years old Cragganmore is one of the well-balanced whiskies.
It's available. A bit mean because if you say it's the least best one in the
not
series,
the least best one,
the selling one in the series, but the thing is it's up to really strong competitors.
It's really up to some competitors.
It's really up to strong competitors.
Cragganmore has to deliver malt whiskies to the big blends in the company as well. So and other from the Classic Malts of Scotland, the series really grew. If you look at Talisker, a huge number of different bottles available from Lagavulin as well. And
Lagavulin.
8 years old, and the cask strength, and
16, and
21 years, 25 years.
The availability is
low.
The issue,
Yes,
is the issue here.
There's a 29-year-old of Cragganmore as well on the market, also very rare. Others grew more than this one, definitely, and the Distillers Edition.
Yeah, the Kalila. They pushed a bit with the Kalila brand when. I know from Kalila that they're huge, and they're also for the blend,
but they've never been part of the classic malts of Scotland. It was part of the classic selection. So the 13 best selling of Diageo.
So it's a space cider, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a space cider.
And gummy bear.
Yeah, it's just I would say I could. That one I could go in a blind tasting and say that's a space cider.
Yeah. There is a saying that there is gummy bear in it, but no, definitely not. It's a very fruity top note on this whiskey. I think it comes from the port wine, but it's not the typical port wine, which is quite heavy and massive. This is a more fruity one, a lighter one. Yeah. Do you know the famous sweet of Heidi Klum? It's gummy bear from Haribo. It's a German brand.
Yeah,
she's German, as we are. But I'm sober. I'm sober since 5 years. I no longer eat gummy bears. No.
Yeah, the thing is, I wanted to say gummy bears as well, but it's a bit unfair because gummy bears, they taste a bit processed, and this one is not processed.
Yes.
I don't know if this is internationally available. In Germany, we do have gummy bears, and we make some differences between gummy bears. There's fruit gummy bears, and there's normal gummy bears and wine gummy bears, and this one is more like a fruit wine one. But it also has a slight aromatic note.
Yeah.
So if you don't compare it to gummy bears, it's very sweet, very fruity in a neutral state.
And a light note, aromatic note, like a little bit of
smoke in it.
Smoke in it.
But it's like it's like when you sit in your room and the fire is out and there's that little burnt note going on because the chimney is not sucking up everything. Mm-hmm. So that's a little remembrance of smoke in the room.
Yeah, in the taste, in the beginning, it's quite light in your mouth, and then spiciness and fruitiness kicks in. There's a massive impact from the cask and from the port wine, and that there is less alcohol, just 40% ABV, is not that, it's not missing, and it's a full, massive taste in your mouth, and this is completely different to the standard Cragganmore 12 years of age, because that one is really, really well balanced. One of the best balanced whiskies I ever had in the aroma, in the taste, in the aftertaste, and this one is so more intense than the 12 years old, normal 12 years old. This one, they have every year they have a new vintage out there, and this one is now 2005 to 2017, and they change a little bit from year to year, but not much. So they have huge batches even for this not that huge selling whiskey. So there are differences in between, but this one is much more intense than the standard 12-year-old.
It's a light one. If you have it in your mouth, it's 40% ABV, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a light one, sweetness, fruitiness, but it fades away pretty quickly, and now I get more of the oakiness, that little bit of a smoky note from the chimney, and so dryness. Yeah, it dries off pretty quickly. Yeah. So it's one of these journey whiskies where you start off sweet and you end up with good amount of oak. We call it not bitter, but herb. Like a strong note with a dark notes and spicy notes. And
the longer you have it in your mouth, the more the aromas add up. And now I can feel some cocoa in it. As long as it's in your mouth, it's sweet, and as soon as you swallow, it starts to turn drier. Yeah, probably some vanilla in it from the bourbon casks. And the typical finishing time for those kind of whiskies is 6 months.
They say it's a minimum of 3 months, so I'd rather estimate.
They say it on the label.
No, they said it somewhere else.
Okay.
did a bit of research and found out that they do a minimum of 3 months to get that port wine note in there. So
this nice. One is reasonably priced, below 50. So it's affordable. It's a little bit more expensive than the standard one, but if the 12 years old is one of your favorite, then you should have a look at the Distillers Edition with the port wine finish.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. So thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to find out more about Cragganmore, the distillery, or the 12-year-old, then please feel free to go to Whisky.com and look for all your whiskey information desires. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.